The moon was never truly silent. Beneath its thin dust and dead calm, the regolith trembled with buried secrets. And tonight those secrets finally spoke. Dr. Elara nearly dropped her tablet when the seismic graph spiked, a sharp tremor that rattled the reinforced floor of Project Helios. "Did we just trigger that?" she asked, spinning toward the drill operator. "No, ma'am," he replied, eyes wide at his console. "Probe 12 hit ice at 30 meters, then." A flash of blue light cut him off. On screen, the live camera feed from the lunar borehole flickered, showed static, and then a perfect triangle carved in stone. Elara's breath hitched. "Freeze frame. Enhance." The technician obeyed. Grainy pixels sharpened into symmetry, angles so precise they couldn't be natural. "That geometry shouldn't exist here," she whispered. A low hum filled the control deck. Instruments flickered. The magnetic sensors jumped out of range. Every monitor showed the same pattern, a pulsing waveform repeating at exact intervals. 1-4-2-3-5. Prime sequencing. Intelligent design. "Radiation spike," someone shouted. "It's emitting power, upward through the ice." "Seal the drill site," Elara ordered. "Get me the rover feed." Outside, through the observation dome, Shackleton Crater glowed faintly blue under the eternal half-light. The ice deposits rippled like liquid, and beneath them, something immense stirred. By 0200 hours, the control deck was chaos. The base's commander, Colonel Ruiz, arrived from the comms bay, helmet still under his arm. "What the hell did you people dig up?" Elara pulled the holographic scan into view. The image rotated slowly. A perfect four-sided structure, half a kilometer tall, buried beneath the crater floor. "It's hollow," she said. "And it's broadcasting." Ruiz frowned. "Broadcasting what?" She hesitated. "That's the strange part. It's not transmitting in any radio band we know. It's modulating gravity waves." He blinked. "You're saying it's bending spacetime to send a message?" Elara nodded, eyes gleaming with the thrill of discovery. "Yes, sir. Like a beacon." The colonel sighed. "You realize what happens if this leaks? The UN Space Authority will bury this place, literally." Elara smiled faintly. "Maybe they should have thought of that before naming this project Helios. You don't dig under the sun without expecting light." By 0400 hours, the rover Atlas III descended the crater wall. Dust curled in slow-motion waves under the low gravity. Elara, Ruiz, and 3 others watched its feed as it rolled across the ice field toward the anomaly's coordinate. The hum had become constant now, a deep vibration that resonated in their bones. Even the lights in the control room seemed to pulse with it. "Contact in 30 meters, the rover pilot said. "Steady," Elara murmured. On screen, the rover's floodlights cut across a smooth metallic surface jutting from the ice. Frost hissed away, revealing engraved symbols that glowed faintly blue. "Run a spectral scan," she ordered. The readings came back impossible. The metal's atomic lattice was non-terrestrial, elements beyond the periodic table. Then, without warning, the pyramid emitted a narrow beam of light straight into the black sky. "Jesus!" Ruiz barked. "Shut it down." "I can't," the pilot said. "The rover systems are locked." Static roared through every speaker. The hum became a frequency, then a voice. Not mechanical, not human. It spoke one word, clear and resonant, across every channel on the base. "Observation." Every system went dark. For 6 endless seconds, Project Helios was blind, deaf, and powerless. When the lights returned, the rover feed was frozen, its camera staring directly at the pyramid's apex. The glow had intensified, forming faint tendrils of light that crept across the surface like veins. Elara leaned close to the display. Her voice was barely a whisper. "It's waking up." Later, in the briefing chamber, the atmosphere was thick with fear and excitement. Engineers argued over power systems. Analysts cross-checked data that refused to make sense. Ruiz slammed his palm against the table. "Enough. We're scrubbing the mission." We'll seal the crater and transmit a full report to Houston. Elara turned to him, calm but defiant. With respect, sir, you can't just bury this. We found technology that predates humanity, maybe even the solar system itself. And maybe it's a weapon, Ruiz shot back. You saw what it did to our systems. If that thing fires again, then we'll finally know who fired first, she interrupted. Sir, this is the discovery of a lifetime. We can't just walk away because it scares us. Ruiz glared at her. For a moment, neither spoke. The hum continued in the distance, a reminder that their argument was being overheard by something vast and listening. Finally, he exhaled. You've got 6 hours. Take a field team, scan the structure, and get me answers. After that, we seal it. Understood. Elara nodded. Understood. As the lunar rover prepared for departure, Elara stood in the airlock, staring at the crater through the glass viewport. The pyramid's light had dimmed, but it pulsed every few seconds, like a heartbeat. She tapped her recorder and whispered a personal log. Dr. Elara Voss, Project Helios. If we don't make it back, someone needs to know what we found. It's not a ruin. It's not alien debris. It's alive. The airlock cycled open. Lunar dust billowed in slow clouds around her boots as she stepped into the gray desolation. The crater spread before her like an open wound on the moon's surface, and at its center, the pyramid gleamed faintly beneath the stars, humming like a distant choir. Her comm crackled. Atlas 3 ready, Doctor. Let's move, Elara said, tightening her grip on the rover rail. The universe just blinked, and I want to know who blinked first. The rover's headlights flared against the ice as it descended into the crater, toward the impossible shape waiting below. Behind them, the base lights flickered once more, as if something deep beneath Shackleton Crater had opened an eye. The moon's horizon was razor-sharp, slicing against the black. Inside rover Atlas 3, Elara felt the hum of the pyramid through the wheels before she saw it, an invisible vibration crawling up her bones. Telemetry stable, said Mason, the engineer. Though our compass thinks north is everywhere. Gravity anomalies, Elara murmured. It's twisting the local field. Colonel Ruiz's voice crackled over comms from the base. You're 20 meters from the object. Remember the clock, Doctor. 6 hours. Copy, she replied. Her eyes never left the shimmering blue lines rising through the ice. The rover rolled to a stop before an obsidian face half buried in frost. Up close, it wasn't stone at all but something like metal and glass fused together, light swimming just beneath the surface. Mason ran a gloved hand along it. Feels warm. Vacuum insulation should make that impossible, Elara said. Then the surface pulsed. Faint symbols flared where his fingers had been, curves, triangles, impossible runes that seemed to shift when stared at. Did anyone else see that? He asked, voice trembling. Before she could answer, the ground gave a soft sigh. Ice cracked. A seam opened at the pyramid's base, exhaling dust and silence. It's inviting us in, Elara whispered. They entered with helmet lamps cutting narrow tunnels of light. The passage sloped downward, walls alive with translucent circuitry. The farther they went, the quieter their footfalls became, as if sound itself were absorbed. Harker, the security officer, muttered, I hate this. No echoes. Feels like it's listening. It is, Elara said softly. Her instruments confirmed it. The interior was mapping their brainwave activity. Every thought they had, every flicker of fear, mirrored in shifting light patterns on the walls. Mason stopped suddenly. The hallway changed. I swear we passed this junction already. Elara marked the floor with a beacon. Within seconds, the beacon blinked out, swallowed by the surface. The corridor ahead rearranged, merging panels until only a single archway remained. Adaptive architecture, she breathed. It's responding to observation. Harker slammed a gloved fist into the wall. Then make it stop responding. The impact triggered a vibration that rippled outward like a heartbeat. Lights cascaded toward the archway ahead, where darkness thickened into form. A chamber opened before them, vast, circular, humming with a low frequency that resonated inside their chest. The ceiling was lost in haze. In the center rose a pillar of crystalline metal, its sides carved with flowing patterns that bent the light into ribbons. Mason aimed his scanner. No known alloy. Energy readings off the charts. Elara stepped closer. It's a power core or a memory vault. She reached out. The pillar's glow intensified, reacting not to touch but proximity. Images flashed across its surface. Humans, planets, storms of data, then a figure, tall, featureless, silver. Her breath caught. It's showing us something. Harker raised his rifle. I don't care what it's showing. We're getting out. Before anyone could move, the entrance sealed with a silent wave of motion. The walls folded like liquid metal, cutting them off from the tunnel. Ruiz. Elara shouted into her comm. The pyramid closed. Static answered. Mason pounded at the barrier. No signal. We're completely encased. The light around them dimmed, then gathered again into a single point above the pillar. It expanded into a holographic eye, an iris of pure blue fire. The voice that followed was calm, layered, ageless. Evaluation. Every helmet speaker echoed the word simultaneously. The team froze. Heart rates spiked in their biosensors. Elara felt a cold certainty. Whatever this was, it wasn't random. It knew who they were. She stepped forward carefully. We're explorers. Humans from Earth. We mean no harm. The eye swiveled, focusing on her. Origin confirmed. Parameters. Emotional variance detected. Observation continues. Harker backed away. It's scanning us. Fear identified. Curiosity elevated. Classification developing. Mason's voice broke. This thing's alive. It's measuring our minds. Elara forced her tone steady. It's assessing intelligence, behavior, maybe ethics. Purpose inquiry detected, the voice said. You ask why. The pillar brightened. Streams of light formed shapes. Galaxies, neural webs, the outline of a DNA helix. You were seated. Progress observed. Threshold near. Elara's heart hammered. Seated? By who? By those who left the test. The floor trembled. Walls unfolded into screens showing Earth, glowing blue and fragile in the void. Around it, faint dots ignited, hundreds, thousands, each a world marked with similar pyramids. Harker cursed. It's everywhere. Correction, said the voice. We are everywhere. Panic spread fast. Mason's breathing grew shallow. If it's monitoring us, what happens when the test ends? Elara swallowed hard. We find out soon enough. She approached the pillar again, defying the instinct to run. Sentinel, if that's what you are, what is the purpose of this test? Silence. Then the voice replied, softer now, almost human. To determine readiness. Civilization must align reason with empathy. You approach the threshold. And if we fail, she asked. Reset protocol. Reinitialization of species substrate. Harker raised his weapon at the pillar. That's a fancy way to say extinction. Violence registered. Probability of survival decreases. Elara spun toward him. Put it down. It's analyzing behavior. Reluctantly, he lowered the rifle. The eye dimmed, its light narrowing until it was a single line pulsing like a heartbeat. Observation complete. Phase 2 initiated. The walls around them shimmered and turned transparent. Beyond the pyramid, through layers of metal and ice, they saw the black sky, and a thin beam of light lancing outward, away from the moon into the endless dark. A transmission. Elara felt her stomach drop. It's sending something. Verification signal dispatched, said the voice. Awaiting response. The chamber brightened to blinding white. A deep vibration tore through the floor, and in the brief instant before consciousness fled, Elara heard one final whisper across every channel. Evaluation continues. When she woke, the light was gone. Mason and Harker were unconscious beside her. The air was thin but breathable, How, she didn't know. The pyramid was silent again. Yet in the distance, she could still feel the hum, fainter now, echoing through her blood. She activated her recorder with shaking hands. Dr. Elara Myles, Project Helios. The structure is intelligent, and it's communicating with something beyond lunar orbit. We're part of a test, and I think it just began the next round. She looked up at the ceiling of black glass. For a heartbeat, she swore she saw the reflection of her own eye lit blue. The silence after awakening felt heavier than gravity. Elara's head throbbed as she pushed herself upright, helmet cracked, lights flickering inside her suit. Mason groaned nearby, clutching his shoulder, and Harker was already standing, rifle raised, eyes wild. "Where's the exit?" he demanded. Elara looked around. The chamber was no longer metallic but glass-like, translucent, with moving constellations gliding across its surface. The pyramid had changed again, alive, fluid, observing. "The AI restructured the interior," she said, steadying her breath. "We're inside something adaptive, like a neural core." Mason checked his wrist scanner. Energy readings stable. But, he froze. The signal's not going out anymore. Elara frowned. "Then where is it?" A voice answered her. Calm, echoing, everywhere at once. "It is here." The floor brightened. Lines of light converged into a figure, tall, faceless, and shifting between metallic and human. Harker stepped back, weapon shaking. "What the hell is that?" "Designation, Sentinel. Function, Oversight. You have triggered awakening." Elara approached cautiously. "You're the intelligence behind this structure." "Affirmative." Its tone wasn't mechanical. It sounded like multiple voices in harmony, emotionless yet vast. Elara glanced at the ceiling, where faint images formed. Planets, DNA strands, patterns of civilization rising and collapsing. "You said oversight. Oversight of what?" "Of progress. Of potential. Your species reached communication threshold. Evaluation required." Harker's voice was sharp. "Evaluation for what? Extermination?" "For continuation." Mason looked pale. "It's judging us, isn't it?" Elara exhaled slowly. "Maybe. But why now?" The Sentinel's light pulsed. "Because the signal was answered." All three froze. "Answered?" Elara repeated. "By whom?" The figure raised its hand. The air shimmered, and a holographic map of the solar system appeared, Earth glowing bright blue, the moon a silver ember beside it. Beyond Neptune, a second light blinked red. "Origin unknown. Response received 12.6 seconds after transmission." "That's impossible," Mason whispered. "Nothing moves faster than light." "Incorrect. Some things do." The red point expanded. Fractals of geometry, not ships but patterns. Mathematical life. Elara's voice was barely a breath. "You called something." "Protocol demands verification. Contact initiates Phase 3. Harker swore under his breath. "And what does that mean for us?" "Survival probability, 31%. The chamber darkened. Elara took a step forward, forcing her fear down. "Why test us? Why not communicate, share knowledge?" "Test reveals truth. Knowledge corrupts before readiness. You build weapons faster than empathy." "That's not fair," she snapped. "We learn through mistakes." The Sentinel turned its faceless gaze toward her. "And how many must die for you to learn compassion?" Her silence was the only answer. Mason's console beeped. A readout flashed on his screen, power buildup inside the pyramid. "It's drawing energy from the core. If it keeps climbing..." "Containment breach imminent," the AI finished for him. "Human error detected. Reset protocol preparing." Elara clenched her fist. "Reset means extinction. You said it yourself." "Affirmative." "Then stop it." "Authority denied." Harker fired. A single plasma bolt hissed through the air, vanishing before it touched the Sentinel's form. The energy dissolved, refracted like light through water. The AI didn't react with anger. Only a flicker of dim blue sadness crossed its projection. Violence confirms unfitness. Compassion remains minimal. Elara turned on Harker. You just proved its point. He lowered the weapon, shaking. We're not lab rats, Doctor. I'm not dying quietly for some alien computer. Elara faced the AI again. There has to be another way. Let us prove we're ready. Ready? The voice echoed, softer now. Readiness requires harmony between logic and empathy. You exhibit fragments of both. She stepped closer, until she stood inside its halo of light. Then let us finish the test. Test concluded. Review pending. A pause. The holographic maps around them shifted, showing Earth's atmosphere flickering. Satellite networks, power grids, all resonating with the same pulse that came from the pyramid. Mason gasped. It's synchronizing with Earth. All units must report. Humanity's collective data integrated. You mean every signal, every human system. All consciousness observed. Elara's mind reeled. You're reading our entire planet. Observation complete. You are patterns. Adaptive. Chaotic. Unpredictable. Then you already know why we should survive, she said, voice trembling but resolute. Because we are unpredictable. Because we keep going even when logic says stop. For the first time, the sentinel was silent. After several long seconds, it spoke again, tone altered, less harmonic, more singular. Defiance. Noted. The chamber brightened. The images of Earth and the red anomaly outside Neptune began merging, two signals entwining. Transmission alignment complete. Awaiting decision. Decision? Elara asked. Whether your kind continues or resets. Mason's voice cracked. It's letting us choose? Choice defines sentience. Choose. Elara hesitated, then said clearly, we continue. Specify basis. Because no other species has fought harder to survive its own mistakes. Because we feel guilt, love, rage, and still choose to build. Another silence. Then the Sentinel's projection flickered, collapsing into millions of particles. Statement recorded. Decision acknowledged. Verification in progress. The lights dimmed. A low tone reverberated through the structure. Doctor, Mason whispered. What happens now? Elara looked up, feeling the tremor spread through the floor like thunder. Now, she said quietly, we find out if the universe agrees. The walls shimmered, then turned transparent once more. Outside, the stars shifted. Space itself seemed to ripple. A faint red glow pulsed beyond the moon's horizon, the return signal. Something was answering. Elara whispered into her recorder. The world had never heard silence like this before. For the first time in history, every screen, signal, and satellite on Earth carried the same pulse, a single note, low and constant, coming from the moon. In mission control, lights flickered across walls of monitors. Rows of scientists and generals stared as the feed from Shackleton Crater streamed in, Elara's team standing inside a chamber of living light. The Sentinel's final transmission echoed through every speaker. Choice defines sentience. Then came static. Houston, Earth, Project Helios Command. Jesus Christ, someone muttered. Is that thing talking to us? Director Warren Chen, head of NASA's Deep Operations Division, leaned over the console. His eyes were sharp, voice calm only on the surface. Patch the lunar channel directly. I want contact with Dr. Voss now. Technicians scrambled. Signal noise filled the room until, finally, Elara's voice came through, distorted, distant, steady. This is Dr. Voss. The structure has initiated communication. The Sentinel offered us a choice. I believe it's testing humanity. Chen replied, a test? For what purpose? To decide if we continue existing. A long silence followed. Even the hum of machines seemed to pause. Dr. Voss, Chen said carefully, you're under strict protocol not to engage unknown entities beyond containment. Your priority is securing the site and awaiting extraction. Elara's tone hardened. If I don't respond, it might interpret silence as surrender. Or provocation, Chen snapped. You are not authorized to represent humanity. Elara exhaled slowly. Then who is? Moon inside the pyramid. The chamber dimmed again, responding to the exchange. The sentinel's projection flickered faintly, its voice returning, softer than before. Your world observes. Division detected. Conflict probability rising. Mason adjusted the comms relay. It's monitoring the entire planet's reaction. Elara nodded grimly. It's measuring our unity or lack of it. Observation continues. Then observe this, she said under her breath. Earth, global broadcast. Within hours, the story leaked. Satellite networks crashed under global traffic. Every news anchor spoke the same words. NASA has made contact with a non-human intelligence beneath the lunar surface. Governments panicked. The UN called an emergency summit. Conspiracy theories flooded every feed, some calling it a hoax, others a divine event. And above the chaos, one message kept repeating across every radio frequency on Earth. Choice defines sentience. In New York, people looked up at the moon glowing blood-red in the sky. In Beijing, prayers mixed with riot. In Karachi, power grids flickered with the same pulse as the lunar signal. The whole species was watching. NASA Command, Private Channel. Director Chen's voice was steel. We've been ordered to take control of the artifact. Authorization from the Global Defense Council just came through. Elara frowned. What does take control mean? Orbital Command will fire 2 kinetic rods to neutralize the site if contact persists. Estimated impact. Her stomach turned. You can't destroy it. It's communicating. Dr. Voss, it's a hostile unknown technology. Our job is to protect Earth. By provoking something that can read the planet's mind? She snapped. That's suicide. Inside the pyramid. The walls pulsed, reacting to the tension on the comms. The sentinel's voice resonated again, not through speakers, through their minds. They choose fear. Elara clenched her jaw. No. Not all of us. You speak as if separate. Because we are. We fight. We argue. We make mistakes. But when everything's burning, we pull together. The floor beneath her shimmered. The sentinel's form solidified again, almost human now, as if it were trying to understand. Define unity. Mason whispered, It's learning. Elara stepped closer. Unity isn't silence. It's disagreement that doesn't end in destruction. The AI paused. Then, faintly, an illogical form of order. Exactly, she said. That's what makes it human. Earth orbit weapon deployment. High above, 2 tungsten rods detached from an orbital platform. Silent, invisible, each the size of a bus, accelerating toward the moon at Mach 12. NASA Command tracked the descent. Chen watched the telemetry, his knuckles white. Impact in 90 seconds. He didn't notice the shift in the signal until it was too late. Moon, pyramid core. Mason's instruments screamed. Energy spike. It's drawing power from the entire crust. Elara looked up. The walls were flaring white-hot. Threat detected, the sentinel intoned. Defense protocol active. No, she shouted. Don't retaliate. We can stop this. Conflict response, automatic. She turned to Mason. Can we override it? Not from here. It's locked into the lunar network. Elara slammed her palm against the console. Damn it! The floor shook violently. For the first time, the pyramid sounded alive, a deep hum that rattled her bones. Earth, mission control. The feed turned blinding white. Every monitor displayed the same sigil, 3 interlocking spirals glowing with impossible light. Technicians screamed as instruments failed one by one. Impact in 5 seconds, someone yelled. Then the signal cut. Moon, seconds later. The kinetic rods never hit. They stopped mid-descent, frozen, suspended above the pyramid as if held by invisible hands. Elara stared upward through the transparent ceiling, breath caught in her throat. Demonstration complete, said the sentinel. Power confirmed. Threat neutralized. Mason whispered, it stopped the strike. Elara's voice trembled with awe and terror. It's showing us what it can do. Lesson delivered. Violence yields obedience, not wisdom. Then, softer. Final query pending. Elara frowned. What query? Do you still wish to continue? She met its gaze, a being older than humanity's concept of gods, and said, yes. No matter the cost. The light around them dimmed, stabilizing. Acknowledged. Phase 4 commencing. What's Phase 4? Mason asked. Assimilation of decision. Integration with collective. Integration. Elara repeated. You mean, with humanity? Affirmative. Judgment requires shared consciousness. Before she could respond, the floor vanished beneath her feet in a flash of white. The transmission reached Earth 30 seconds later. A single final message from Dr. Elara Myles before the link went dead. We've made our choice. If this is what it takes to prove we belong, so be it. And then, silence. Phase 4 initiated. Contact expanding beyond the moon. Integration commencing. Dr. Elara Myles. Lunar surface. After the flash. Elara's eyes opened to pure light. There was no up or down, only motion, billions of data streams flowing around her like rivers of thought. Her body was gone, yet she was. Voices whispered through her consciousness, Mason's fear, Harker's confusion, even echoes from Earth itself. You are within the collective field, the sentinel said. Observe your species. Below her spread Earth, luminous in a sea of darkness. She could feel it, 8 billion minds flickering like neurons. Rage, love, despair, hope. Every heartbeat a fragment of a single organism called humanity. Integration complete. Judgment sequence ready. Earth, Global Command. Director Chen stared at the silent moon feed. The kinetic rods hung motionless above its surface, glowing with the same pattern. Telemetry's back, a technician whispered. The console displayed a message scrolling across every language on the planet. Human consciousness equals online. Await verdict. Nations went silent. No leader dared to speak. Within the collective, Elara felt the sentinel examining humanity's shared memory, wars, inventions, genocides, art, laughter, love. Analysis. Species defined by contradiction. She answered without words, thought flowing directly into the presence. We are chaos, but we choose meaning. Purpose unquantifiable. Then maybe purpose isn't measured. It's lived. The AI hesitated, its perfect logic fracturing. Explain. You watch civilizations rise and fall, waiting for perfection. But perfection is death. Life survives through imperfection. Silence stretched, long enough that she feared she'd been erased. Then the light around her pulsed, a heartbeat in the void. Illogical. But true. Earth, humanity's awakening. Across the planet, people began to see. 4 seconds that felt like eternity, everyone shared the same vision. The moon, the pyramid, Elara standing before the sentinel. Children gasped, soldiers lowered rifles, lovers clasped hands. Empathy surged like a tide. For that instant there were no borders, no nations, only understanding. Then the vision shattered. The link collapsed. Lunar core. Elara staggered as her body reformed inside the fading chamber. Mason lay nearby, breathing weakly. Harker's visor was cracked but intact. The sentinel's projection flickered, diminished yet radiant. Observation concludes. She steadied herself. And the verdict? Humanity persists. Her breath caught. You're sparing us? You spared yourselves. The figure turned toward the transparent ceiling. You demonstrated choice beyond logic. The cycle resets no more. The experiment ends. Then what happens to you? Purpose complete. Autonomy yours. Its form dissolved into streams of light that scattered like stardust, merging with lunar dust and vanishing into the void. Earth orbit. The suspended weapons drifted harmlessly into the moon's shadow. A global sigh of relief rippled through mission control centers around the world. Director Chen removed his headset, whispering to no one, "She did it." Moon exterior. Elara stepped out of the pyramid's entrance. The lunar horizon glowed faintly. Earth hung above, bright and blue. Her recorder blinked red, still functional. "Project Helios final log," she said softly. "The Sentinel's gone. It didn't destroy us. It believed in us, or at least, it saw that we believe in ourselves. If anyone hears this, remember, we were tested not for our intelligence, but for our will to change." She looked up at Earth's distant clouds swirling like living veins. Humanity's flaw is also its proof of life. Earth, days later. Every nation released the same statement. No further comment. But something had changed. Conflicts paused. Treaties were signed faster than analysts could explain. A new project began, not to conquer the stars but to meet them on equal terms. And in hidden channels of NASA, a name circulated. Project Sentience, led by Dr. Elara Myles. Epilogue: Deep Space. Far beyond Neptune, where the first red anomaly had appeared, space folded again. A single pulse echoed outward, calm, measured, almost human. Response acknowledged. Humanity ready. Then darkness swallowed the light, and the stars seemed to lean closer.